I just wanted to talk briefly about this what I just saw in the news. Yeah, check this out.
Since the so-called Alligator Alcatraz opened, we've been hearing similar complaints.
Conditions that they're going through, they're horrible.
This place is a cage.
From detainees, their families, and Democratic leaders.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
Tonight, only on 6, you'll hear from a woman who says she worked inside the facility.
NBC6 politics reporter Hansel has been covering the detention center since it opened and now brings us this exclusive report.
This woman says she arrived at the facility on July 6 and spent a week working inside before she got sick and then had to isolate.
I thought it would get better, but it never did.
This is Lindsay, and this is how she describes what she saw when she spent a week working at the controversial Alligator Alcatraz.
It's inhumane the way that they're keeping their residents.
We're using her first name because she worries about her family's privacy and online harassment.
When I got there, it was overwhelming.
She shared her state of Florida credential, which lists her position.
Okay, what I want to say is right fast before I go back to the video. Weren't they given the option to self-deport? Weren't you given the option to self-deport? Let's go back to this. Play a little bit more.
As a corrections officer.
They said it was going to be 5 days on, 2 days off.
She also provided us with a copy of her contract with Garter World Federal Services, a security company reported as one of the vendors at Alligator Alcatraz. A job posting on the company's LinkedIn account shows that we're hiring for the position a month ago, offering $26 an hour.
I was aware that it was going to.
I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's happening at Alligator Alley. So did you guys hear anything about this? Let me see if I can get it up here. Let me remove it, and then let me add this one. Remove this. And then let me add something else. Screen share. Okay. This one right here. What's up with this?
I'm here. I'm willing to collaborate with them on one condition. There can be no lies told. Basil Richardson, a.k.a. Fredo, is innocent. He has never sent any money to me to finance anything in Haiti. Stop with all those lies.
I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. All I know is they said they're captured. What they capturing here? What's it? Haitian gang leader Jimmy Barbecue response. Okay, you know what? What's going on with this? Is he being captured? Is he on US soil? What the hell is that? Then check this out. I want you to see one more video. It's a point. It's a method to this. Check this out. Cause this is just so annoying. It's annoying as hell. Now watch this. I want you to see this right quick. Let's see who the model citizens are. Now check out this. I checked this out a couple of days ago. This is irrelevant right here, but listen to.
Across from Ding Pangzi Plaza, also known as the Garfield Lincoln Center. This area is home to many Chinese businesses, including restaurants, supermarkets, hair salons, gold shops, and pharmacies, making it a well-known Chinese commercial hub. For many, this is the first stop when they arrive in the US, but life here is tough. People work illegally, live in hidden spaces, and constantly fear being caught by ICE. The video quickly spread on Chinese social media. One commenter wrote, "It's obvious he's Chinese. After living abroad for so many years, I've noticed that many older Chinese people have this odd habit of standing with their hands behind their backs." Another said, "Clearly, he's been targeted.
Okay, let me
Either
let me
he's
forward this
guilty or
up.
has a
This is what I
deportation
want
order
to tell
against
you.
him." In recent years, several underground groups. The video shows the nightclub hidden inside an inconspicuous commercial office building, with black reflective glass that made it appear abandoned from the outside. Inside, however, was a luxurious, modern nightclub with lighting, sound systems, and private rooms. When law enforcement raided the place, a white sedan quickly fled the parking lot, nearly colliding with a fire truck with its lights flashing. Two Chinese men ran into the street. Armed agents outside shouted, "Open the door." Law enforcement agencies did not disclose the total number of people arrested, but mentioned that 9 individuals were detained for violating immigration laws and have entered the deportation process. On July 20th, the Los Angeles division of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration posted on social media. Images showed dozens of men being handcuffed and sitting on the ground, a few Chinese women in tight tops and shorts, and law enforcement seizing large amounts of drugs, drug paraphernalia, credit cards, entire boxes of gift cards,
You
and
hear that?
gambling equipment. Criminal gangs often operate
Hold
in
on.
hidden places like apartment.
Do you hear that? Do you hear what they discovered at these nightclubs and these underground clubs in these Chinese neighborhoods and on American soil? Do you hear? Do you hear what I'm trying to convey to you? Do you get the picture? Now, let's play a little bit more.
Buildings or massage parlors. Many of these businesses run under legal names such as foot massage or spa centers, but secretly engage in sex trade activities. The level of concealment makes law enforcement efforts more challenging. This was the second Chinese underground nightclub raided by federal agencies in the Los Angeles area in the past 2 months. On May 30th, ICE's Homeland Security Investigations Los Angeles Division, in cooperation with other agencies, raided a warehouse in Industry City, Los Angeles. Around 60 to 70 Chinese individuals were found inside, using drugs and partying. Some were sitting with their heads down, trying to hide their faces, as a helicopter circled above. 36 people without legal status were arrested on the spot. Most of them had entered the U.S. illegally and only had work permits. The underground nightclub charged an entry fee of $40 to $50, with people singing, partying, and drugs.
All right. So my point of doing this video was I ran into this alligator Alcatraz. Okay. I just woke up a couple hours ago. Alligator Alcatraz, right? And they've been talking about this prison for a minute. And people kept saying, you guys had an option to deport, self deport, and or not. So now I ran into this video of the woman talking about the conditions up there, and they sound deplorable. They sound very deplorable. It's like when you had the option to leave, why didn't you leave? And then I ran into the other videos, the clips that I showed you guys about since this mass deportation, a lot of secrets been coming out. A lot of, how they said that Asians are the model citizens, right? So they're the model citizens in public, they come out demure, they come out pleasant, they don't cause a ruckus, they don't protest, they don't do any of that. But behind closed doors, turns out you've been running rings, you've been committing fraud. They had they had a man that was committing fraud against elderly American citizens and they racked up like 20 something $1 million committing fraud on elderly citizens, American citizens. And then they have the trafficking, and then they have because people, well, they bring these women over here, they're doing underground prostitution, and these are the people that they put in our face and say are model citizens. They generalize. They don't just say, you know what, there are a few people in the Asian community who are model citizens, but there is a problem with underground criminality, drugs, prostitution, Chinese gangs. Hey, CC girl, I was just about to text you. I'm like, this is second string. I know I did a random string. I know I didn't tell you in advance, but like I said, I be trying to do it when I can. So you know what's up. But thank you for showing up. But I was like, and it's not just the Asian community. They've been coming out exposing a lot of these communities, although they still stigmatize black folks. But I'm trying to get those people who are blind, deaf, and dumb to understand that it's been a whole they have been stigmatizing those called black Americans for decades, for centuries. Russian gangs. Have you been hearing about any Russians getting rounded up in these deportations? Anybody from the European continent. You know, you hear about the Africans, you hear about the Nigerians. Oh my God. I've been hearing about the Nigerians since the 80s. So it's not surprising to me that, they're behind all that's depraved. But have you been hearing about anybody other than Asians that's being deported from the European country? Have you been hearing since these mass deportations, haven't you been hearing about more groups committing crimes? Not just being over here illegally, but in a part of dark world crimes, underground crimes. And they still find a way, even though this is coming out to the light, that a lot of these groups have these underground criminal organizations in America, and most of them are operating as non-citizens over here illegally with underground crime rings, still find a way to stigmatize black Americans. Trump, if this message ever cross your desk, you better tread lightly. You better tread lightly, homeboy, because the jig is up. You're not gonna make it seem like black youth, the black you y'all been saying this, ever since I was in high school. You've been coming at black youth ever since I was in high school, ever since my mother was in high school. Heard the silent ones, the silent generation. That's what you've been targeting. You've been targeting that. You've been talking about the black youth forever. It's like my question to you, Black America, how long are you gonna let them keep doing it? What are you gonna do about it? I know what we can do, but what are you gonna do about it? And I'm trying to figure and another thing that bothered me, not it didn't bother me like, oh my God, I have compassion. It bothered me because here I am, I'm hearing that these white farmers are losing their farms and they can't crop, they can't harvest like they need to because they don't have the hands. My question is, where's MAGA? Where the hell is MAGA? Where is MAGA? Where's the MAGA community? Why aren't you out there attending to your own farms, white folks? You white people who have these farms, you guys own about 90% of the farms in this country. Why aren't you out there working in your own farms? Why the hell you need to bring back those people that were deported, make them legal citizens so they can work in your fields? Why the hell did you think it was a good idea to think that black Americans was going to come back and work in your field when it's too much in the soil? Too much of our blood is buried in the soil from when your ass had our people in chains. So why did you think that was a good idea? Why the hell aren't you taking care of your own damn fields? Why aren't you out there forming your own yards? Your yards, your gardens, your fields. Why aren't you doing it? Why are you so effing lazy? You crying to the president, so we ain't got nobody to help us to maintain our farms that you guys already give us a whole lot of money and stuff for. We don't have the manpower, Trump. Get the hell out there and man your own farms. Why you keep looking for people to help you? I thought superior people had the ideas. I thought you had it. I thought you had it covered. I thought you guys are so superiorly, so intellectual. Why you don't go out there and work your own farms? Why you have to bring these illegal immigrants back that you damn near humiliated and to make them legal citizens to work in your effing farms or your fields? Get your ass out there, MAGA, and work your own damn fields. How about that? Black farmers don't have the help that you guys have had for decades. But yet you say black folks lazy. You done stole land. You done manipulated. You didn't burn. I heard they even burnt down the offices that held the titles to who owned the farms. They burnt and destroyed those offices so you couldn't trace the land back to the true owners. So you did all this to manipulate, all this to steal people's lands and take control over it. Now your ass sitting here crying because you don't have nobody to work your effing farms. That's lazy as hell. Go round up all those MAGA communities. Go round up all those racist ass people with their podcasts and their YouTube channels and tell them to take time. Y'all coordinate a schedule. Come together, coordinate a schedule, and y'all go out and take time, take turns to work on people's farms. I thought you guys were all about self-preservation. Why aren't you helping to preserve these farms? MAGA. Trump, you done brought some white Africans out here. Why they ain't out there helping people in their farms? You crying ass brats. See, that's what happens when you utilize white privilege. When it comes down to it and you don't have the things that made you comfortable, you don't know what to do. Because they made this country made it too easy for you. And now you don't know your head from your effing feet. Now you sitting here before the world, letting the world know who's actually lazy and who's not. You don't see these black farmers getting online crying, saying we need help. They do what if it's only 3 people to work the field, those 3 people are going to go out there and work the field. You got hundreds and hundreds of acres of land and your ass don't know what to do. Go out there and work it one day at a time. It's not that hard if you really wanted to do it. But I see a lot of you people got these farms just for the money, just for the resources that the government willingly gives you because you have a farm. It's a gimmick. And now you're losing it. And now you want people to have compassion. And now you wanted the black folks in the city who don't have jobs to come out there and work in your farms on your fields for you. Why the hell would they do that? What's the incentive other than having a job? What is the incentive for them to leave their homes and travel to your rural community with your hundreds and hundreds of acres and work your fields and not fear for their lives and safety? What's the incentive? I mean, because you people are used to doing whatever the hell you want to do. So what's to say? Who's to say that Jerome won't leave his house in the city, travel to your rural community to work in your field, and end up disappeared? What guaranteed of safety are you gonna give this black man? And how much you gonna pay him? And are you gonna treat him respectfully and decently? Because we live in a civilized society, right? So you gonna treat him with decency and respect, or you gonna get a flashback? Your ancestors gonna come to you spiritually and take you back to the 1800s, and you gonna think your ass is an overseer or enslaver. What you gonna do? What's the incentive to get these black people out of the city to come work on your damn farms? You idiot. You done dehumanized. You done oppressed. You done stigmatized. You done harassed black Americans to the point where they don't want your effing job. They don't want to work under you. They don't want to work under you in corporate America. They don't want to work with you. So why did you think they was going to go to your damn farms and work under your suit, your entitled, hateful ass? Did you think it through? Did you not think it through? Trump, did y'all think it through? Did your administration think it through? Did you stop and think about how the hell you didn't treat Black Americans in this country for centuries, and you thought they was gonna come run and work on your farms? And why would they do that? You better be glad I'm holding back, because I want to call you every name but a child of God. Because just the thought of it, the audacity, the audacity of you to put it in your head thinking that Black Americans were going to come and they was going to work in your fields. Like, you have no respect. You don't think too highly of Black Americans. You thought they was stupid as F and they was just going to come run because you rang a bell. Black Americans are the ones that you do not want to come work on your farms. That's what you don't want, you stupid ass person. That's just like going to a restaurant, talking out your ass to somebody, a waitress or a cook, and then telling them to go cook your food, and you don't know what they gonna put in your food. Now, I know there's some Black people that have self-control. Just because you act the fool, they not gonna act the fool with you. But not everybody think that way. Everybody don't think that way. There's some people that would like to seek revenge. So, out of the 10 people you hire, how many wouldn't? What is wrong with you that you would treat people the way you have treated them in this country and around the world, and then think they was going to come work for you? The only ones who work for you are the ones who don't have anything else to do. They came here for a better life, so they're going to go work at your farms, because that's all they have. You know, they couldn't do shit in their own country, so they had to come here and try to make a living. So those are the ones who went to your stupid ass farms. So you're stuck with them. They stuck with you. Great combination. And I heard what they be out there doing in them fields, working for hours, don't have access to a decent restroom, bathroom, water, wash your hands. None of that. Y'all irritate the shit. Y'all irritate me. I was looking at videos yesterday of what's going on, and you got people did TikTok complicate what are complications. They put together videos of different people from TikTok talking about the farming crisis and white farmers crying about not having help. And it was like I was just sitting there looking at the videos dumbfounded, like, why the F isn't MAGA going to go help? Why MAGA isn't going to go help these farmers? Why isn't white America stepping up, going to these farms, helping these farmers? After all, you guys own the majority of the farms in this country. So why isn't white America going to go help their fellow sisters and brothers? Why are you crying, asking Trump to bring back the illegal immigrants that you rounded up? Why is farmers going to Trump crying and saying that the Black folks ain't coming? You know that ain't what they said, though. The Negresses aren't coming. President Trump, I thought you said when you got rid of DEI and all these other federal programs that the Negresses were going to come to the fields. What happened? You guys can't be that damn lame. You can't be that effing lame. Okay, so if nobody wants to call in and express themselves, I'm about to shut this up. CC, thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Hey, I made it. I'm not working in nobody's fields or yard. No, the only places Black Americans said they're gonna work are on their farms. But see, that's why they didn't want us to have businesses, because they wanted us to be ready and available for them at the drop of a dime. But they don't realize that we've always been tenacious. We always gonna find our own way. And if truth be told, we don't want to work with you. What do you not get? If you didn't lock up every sector in this country and made it where we had to work under you so you could keep your eyes on us, we would not work with you. And the only reason Black people wanted to move into your communities is because they got tired of the crime that was funneled into the city. They didn't want to move into your community because they wanted to live under you. They moved there because they wanted to get away. They wanted to get away from the degradation, the disparity, the poverty, and the lack in the communities they came from, because it was engineered that way. Then integration came. I'm gonna do a video on that. So many people said that it was better when they were segregated, but then you guys started crying about the schools, and I don't understand why y'all didn't come together and use your own money, Black folks. If the freedmen and women after slavery had millions of dollars, they put millions of dollars in the freedmen bank and it was stolen from them. Why you think you couldn't have financed your own schools? Why did you have to integrate? And then there was a man who said, we don't want to go to your schools. He said this in the 60s. I can't remember his name. I'm gonna put together a video of all these clips I'm talking about. He told them, we don't want to go to your school, white people. We didn't want to get bused to your schools. We wanted our own schools. The taxes that our people pay, we wanted those taxes to go to our community and our schools. We wanted the resources that are supposed to go to us, we wanted them to go to our community and our schools. And we could have built our communities up and our schools up. We didn't want to go to school with you. But you notice what they did. Instead of them saying, hey, you know what, let's evenly distribute the resources. Let the Black communities have their resources to build up their schools and communities, and then we're going to continue to give the white communities their resources, because they wouldn't know what the F to do without them, without the handouts. So we're going to continue to do that, and then that way the Black folks don't have to come to our white schools. They can stay in their schools because they'll have the resources to maintain their schools and have the money to hire the good gifted Black teachers. They didn't come with that option. Instead, they came with a effing option to bust you to these white schools around these hateful people. And I don't understand, Black people, why you allow that. Why did you traumatize your children like that? Why did you send your Black children? Have you looked at those clips from the 60s and the 50s when these Black kids was getting busted to these white schools, and every day they had to deal with being called nigresses and monkeys and spitted on and beat and attacked? Why did you subject your children to that? Did it benefit them? Did they really learn? They had to wake up every morning and wait and get their mind prepared to go and be attacked just because they wanted to learn. Why did you subject your children to that, Black people? Why did you subject your children to that hatred? And then you had the parents sitting there looking stupid as hell, letting your white child act like a effing fool, like a hoodlum, terrorizing the Black children because they wanted to go to school. And you so filled with hatred and fear that you didn't even see what you was allowing to happen. And like I said, I'm gonna go back. I said this in several videos I did years ago. You remember when they used to just lynch Black men and women for sport in front of churches? When they used to hang them up in the tree, that's why they call them picnic. That's why I don't say that word. It was pick a nigress to hang up in a tree at church. So when they did this to Black folks and they had the nerves to have their children present, watching this hatred, watching the worst that humanity could offer, putting these black men, women, and children in trees in front of their white children. What happened to those children? I asked this question. Can anybody answer this question? Can somebody honestly answer the question? And the reason why you can't answer the question is because your ass is ashamed. You know what happened to them children. What happened to their psyche? What happened to their psyche when they watched their parents treat black men and women like they were animals and strung them up in a tree? What happened to those children that saw that? What happened to those children that stood in front of them hanging limbs in those trees and took pictures? What happened to them? You know what happened to them? They became teachers. Those white children that watched those atrocities happen before their eyes, they became pastors. They became professors. I was like, they became doctors, dentists, veterans, veterinarians, real estate owners, judges, attorneys. Those children that stood there and watched their parents act like barbaric Neanderthals. Those children that stood there and watched their white parents unalive black men and women by hanging them up in trees in front of their churches. Those children became judges. Those children became attorneys. Those children became doctors, heads of hospitals, administrators, police officers, police chief, fire chiefs, men and what firemen and women, they became firefighters. I saw a video where this firefighter, a white man, he revealed to a black man the reason why he left the fire field, he stopped being a firefighter. He said because it was known to leave black people in burning buildings and didn't rescue them. When they knew that it was black people in a building on fire, they didn't even go in and rescue them. So that's what happened to the children. Since y'all don't want to answer my question, what happened to the white children that watched their white, evil, racist parents hang black men and women up in the tree? Since you don't want to answer my question, I answered it for you. Those are the ones who help run the sectors in this country. That's why racism is still here. Because your evil ass grandfather that stood there and watched what his father and his mother did to those black men and women, they're running sectors in this country. That's why they're so cold. That's why you have so many black women dying during birth in hospitals, because some of them are administrators over these hospitals and they don't give a damn about you. They're judges in courts and they don't care that you've been framed or this was your first offense. They see you as criminals anyway. So, oh well, send him to jail for 30 years. He ain't gonna do nothing good in life anyway. Clean up the streets. Then they become police chiefs. That's why they have certain officers that they can manipulate and cause them to go out there and be the hands and the mouthpiece for these racist police chiefs. These racist police chiefs who were once kids, who saw their parents and their uncles and brothers hang black men and women from trees in front of their churches. That's what happened to the kids. That's what happened to the children who grew up seeing the worst that society can offer. Every time I ask that question, nobody answers it. Every time I ask that question, why nobody answered that question? If it was so cool with how you guys treated those called Black Americans in this country, why you don't want to talk about it? Why you don't want to openly talk about it? Why you have your underground meetings and your meetings in rural town America and openly discuss how you feel about us, but you don't want to bring it to the public? If it's okay. If it's okay how you treat us. If we're nothing. If we mean nothing, why do you hide and talk what you talk? Why do you hide behind laws and policies to be racist and unfair? Why do you hide if it's okay? You hide because you know it's not right. If we treated them the same way they treated us, it'd be a problem. Who is Felicia Franklin? They became desensitized. You know what, CC? Yeah, they do this Felicia, they want people to be desensitized. So when they do the things they do primarily to us, people be like, well, they should obey the law. Oh my God. But that's just how Black people are. But here's the thing, CC. I said in one of my videos, I don't remember what video I said it in, but I said, I was going to say it, but I didn't. I say, let me tell you why Black people haven't broke. And what I mean by broke is, you know how when you did just your back been pushed to the wall and you didn't had enough and you come out swinging and you don't care about the repercussions and consequences. I say, you want me to tell you why Black people haven't broke? Because it would be too much for society. Think about over 400 years of fury coming out of one group at once. They don't even recognize and understand how much fury is there. And it's God that's kept it back. This army, military, law enforcement cannot contain that kind of fury. It's the fury that came from those who were enslaved on this soil. That's still in the soil. It's the fury that came from every generation after slavery. It's the fury that's still here. The reason why it has not exploded is because it can't be contained. It would be like a nuclear bomb. It would be like a million nuclear bombs exploding at once. Everything you've done to their family, everything you've done to the enslaved family, everything you've done to their children, everything that you've done to the children's children, every generation after slavery, everything you've done to every single Black American in this country, living or unalived, will just explode at once. And that's what they fear. I know what kind of person I am. So, and I know what I feel sometimes and how I feel when I hear about injustices after injustices after injustices. I know what rises up in me. But I have self-control. But imagine those who don't. Imagine those who are just tired of looking the other way. These white racist groups, they can't handle it. They would never be able to handle if Black people broke at once. So they better thank God that we have a conscience. We have self-control. Unlike them, we have self-control. And then I know you're going to have someone, what about more Black on Black crime? What about Mexican on Mexican crime? What about Russian on Russian crime? What about Asian on Asian crime? What about white on white crime? Since you want to go there, let's talk about it all. Let's talk about white on white crime. You want to? You want to talk about Mexican on Mexican crime? You want to talk about Black on Black? Oh, no. Let's talk about Russian on Russian crime. Let's talk about what's happening in Russia and what is that country that's fighting? Russian and I can't even think of the name. How many people you think have been unalive during that war? How many people you think the cartel has unalived on their soil? Hmm. How many people you think the cartel has unalived on this soil? You know, there I saw a video where they were talking about they were rounding up Chinese gangs and kicking them out of their countries. So it's not just the Nigerians that's running around the world acting a effing fool. How many Crips and our Bloods you heard getting kicked out of countries? You know, since we supposed to be so violent. I just saw a video where they are kicking Chinese gangs out of different countries. So let's be fair. Y'all want to be fair? Nobody want to be fair? Okay. I thought so. Y'all got me on the right day. And like I said, one day I'm going to start a Patreon or some other kind of account where I can speak the way I want to speak because it's too limited over here. It's too limited. Just like when I was doing those videos on those twins that supposedly unalived themselves. You know, some efforts kept going around having those videos, reporting to YouTube that I guess because they was talking about the subject of suicide, on a self unaliving. They kept reporting it. It was, and they even put something on the video. I didn't even know till later. Um, when you play the video, a message come up telling you that the topic of suicide is discussed in the video. I hit up YouTube. I sent them an email. I was like, why did you put this on my video? Why did you put this on my video? What is wrong with this world that you got a problem with certain things being talked about? What the hell? See, that's why they tell you do not get Generation X started. Yep, I'm Generation X. You don't want to get me started because the way I operate, I don't care about what you think. I don't. I have sense enough to have respect. I'll give you that, but don't do anything to make me snatch it away. Because I'm going to talk about the things that you're uncomfortable with. You don't want to talk about because it'll hurt your feelings. Or you think you can say whatever you want to say to me in these damn comments, but I'm not supposed to say anything back. Yeah, I do. I pull back sometimes because I don't want to go there. Because I can say some things that offend everybody, even the ones that rock with me. So I'm not trying to go there. You gotta use some kind of restraints. But I'll be looking at these comments regularly. I don't see all of them. Of course, I can't see all of them. They get past me. But the ones I do see, I'm like, y'all got a lot of comments. What's up when I live stream? Where y'all at? I'm tired of asking that question. CC, what's up? What's up? White people will unalive their spouse because they girl, girl. Not just the spouse, the dog too. The dog don't even have a chance. They be like, nope, come here, Fido. I'm gonna take you out too. We all know if I'm going, you going too. I cannot stand that. It's like, why don't you just take yourself out? Why you gotta take the dog out too? Y'all just sometimes society, sometimes that's why I need to take a break on looking at the news. But you know what? I like to stay abreast as to what's happening around the world in this country for personal reason and for being a content creator. But sometimes I need to take a break because it's so annoying, especially when they stigmatize Black Americans. I can't stand it. I'm still scratching my head about this Washington D.C. thing, and they've been acting a fool in Chicago. That you guys said. And why isn't anybody investigating how those guns came into the community? I mean, Trump, since you want to make air, you said drain the swamp. Find out how the F those assault rifles and all those guns got into the black community. Let's start from that. Let's start from how all these these drugs got into the black communities. We in the hell ain't manufacturing them. You watch us so tough. We're not manufacturing these drugs. Who the hell bringing them in? Let's talk about that. But y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all just want to look at the problem, but you don't want to look at the root. You don't want to look at the root. Where it had to come from somewhere. Nobody want to talk about that, right? Like you have these black content creators that are so anti-black, talking about some effing black fatigue. You know what fatigue I got? You want to talk about black communities overrun with crime. You want to talk about the guns on the street. You want to talk about the drugs. Let's talk about the root. Let's talk about where the drugs and the guns came from. Nobody want to talk about that? Okay. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to do a deep dive. And we're going to talk about how the CIA, FBI, all those little alphabets has something to do with filling our cities up with guns and drugs. Since y'all want to just look at what black folks doing, so I'm going to look at what you doing. You damn professional criminals. That's what you are. You are professional. The United States government is filled with professional criminals. Since nobody else want to say it. Since y'all want to go around talking about black fatigue. No, you need to be government fatigue. Because they go around the world filling the world up with crime. Didn't they say that this country was given going to other countries, giving them guns and weapons, and then fighting them and acting like they're getting rid of the world's #1 criminals or enemy, but then you done went to that other country and you the one supplied them with weapons just to get on TV and say, hey, we got rid of the #1 world and the enemy to the world. Who runs the government? Damn sure ain't black folks. You said black people create the most, cause the most crime in the country. Okay, well, who runs the government? Who runs the government? Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna come back later, CC. I'm about to close this live up because I'm bothered. And I didn't plan to be on live that long. I just saw those clips and I wanted to bring them. I wanted to share them with you guys. The clips of the Alligator Alcatraz, what they say is happening out there. The conditions are so deplorable. That's what they say. And then the clips of what's been coming out in the wash. You know how they say everything coming out in the wash, and then now they're exposing these underground criminalities hosted by non-black folks, immigrants, illegal immigrants have been running underground crime rings. Asians, the ones they say are model citizens. So I saw those clips and I was like, wow, that's deep. Oh, okay. You just thought they were hard workers all this time. I thought they were just hard workers wanting to come over here and work hard. I thought that's what they were over here doing. Did you detect the sarcasm in my voice? I hope you did. Because I knew they wasn't just over here working hard. Stop lying. Yeah, they were working hard doing crime, embezzlement, defrauding citizens, defrauding elders, senior citizens, bringing their people over here Asian on Asian crime, trafficking them, sex trafficking them, prostitution. Yep, that's what they was working hard at doing. All of them. All of them are involved in crime some kind of way. You gonna stop stigmatizing. You gonna stop stigmatizing Black Americans. That's what you gonna do. That's what you gonna do. You gonna stop stigmatizing Black Americans. That's what you gonna do. All right, CC, Felicia, if you still in the house, thank you so much. And I'm about to shut down shop. I might come back later on. I might not. But thank you, CC, for turning up. I appreciate you. All right, I'm out, folks. Deuces.